I'm going to find you and I both got that list. Hello, welcome back.
Howdy.
You've been to have a whizzer, mate, and you're back. Well, it's taken you a week, obviously, because we're...
Oh, good. Now everybody thinks I went and got the snip.
I've had the snip. It's fine.
Oh, well, I don't need to. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we're both,
Still on my resume as one of my strong points.
Oh, is that right? So I want to find... We both had on our list this person, and I will most certainly not name them.
BJ.
Yeah, cut that out.
No.
I don't even want to hint at...
We don't have to cut that.
I don't...
I know, I wasn't talking about a person. I was talking about...
Oh, to say about him.
Just blowies. No, but does that reference you are fogging up?
I know,
quick,
because you got me nervous. You've said too much.
Anyway. All right, while you're fucking about
No, I'll find something else to talk about as a fucking...
Here's something. Here's something. People who have weird food requests at restaurants.
Well, it depends what it is.
No. Just weird. Not allergy.
Right.
And not documented medical
and
allergy.
when I say allergy,
an anaphylactic reaction to nuts.
Actual allergy, not, I get a bit of an upset tum-tum if I have ice cream.
Yeah. No, like just, all of the, I don't know.
What is the weird, I don't know. Who wrote it? What is it? Is it your point?
Well, it's on my list, but I can't remember.
You can't. So here's what happens.
There was a reason. I wrote it down.
So he's got...
I just expect you to blow up about anything and everything.
So he's got a list, which, obviously I've been punishing him about starting one. And basically it's, because we've got some weeks between recordings. but you've got the notes list. And I said, do what I do. Just as soon as you think of something, just jot it in your notes. And then because you generally, as soon as you think of something, it's gone, it's forgotten. But what happens is if you jotted in your notes 4 weeks ago, it turns up and there's just this random sentence that you're like, I don't know what that fucking means. And
I know now. It's because I was out for dinner with Dylan and his friends, and him and one of his girlfriends, they have the exact same order at a few different places, and it's pretty fucked up. And we went to Thai.
Love you, Dylan.
Went to Thai, and it was like chicken cashew nut.
No cashews.
Yeah.
No,
but not just no cashews. They just want chicken.
No chicken, no cashews.
They just want chicken and sauce. That's it. No veggies, no cashew, no anything else that could possibly go in it. But their Macca's order is a double cheeseburger, no pickles, extra ketchup, extra mustard.
Say it again, please.
Double cheeseburger, no pickles, extra ketchup, extra mustard.
Oh, that's okay. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It just...
I saw one online.
It just leads into a lot of other...
This is just a meme, but it was like a Macca's box, and it had they put the sticker on it when it's a different order. It's got printed on it what it is. And it was like cheeseburger, no bun, no meat, no cheese. And you open up the box, it was just a squirt of ketchup in the box. So back to when we went out for dinner with a bunch of celebrants a few weeks or whatever ago.
Yeah.
Leave that there for Lincoln to find later. And we were, tossing around.
That's super smooth. You did the first one. I was very impressed. Yeah, love it. Continue.
Yeah, we were tossing around podcast ideas and asking them what they thought and give us any feedback and yada yada yada. And they all obviously said it was a stellar podcast and they couldn't wait for
one
each
of
week.
the best.
They couldn't wait for each week for it to come out. But on the topic of monster-in-laws, because we're back. There was a couple, and so a friend of ours, and obviously won't name her, don't want to throw her under the bus. ASMR. Just had to build one of them into one of the episodes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, chicken and cashew. She was at a wedding where, and again, monster-in-law.
Yeah, I remember. But for the listeners, say it anyway.
What?
What are you going to say?
Oh.
I know what you're going to say, but say it anyway.
Okay.
I was gonna.
So, yeah, the groom's mum was estranged from the family. She was a problematic individual. And, but, a wedding, obviously, like we talked about, people have these kind of, I have to invite, blah, blah, blah. And obviously mum's, it's a special case, so.
Yeah, but I'm also going to look straight at the camera now. Ready? An eye roll. Fuck her.
Anyway, that aside.
Yeah.
So she was there. It was, tensions were high. And the groom, who was his mum, got up to speak. So she'd been there all day. Everybody's on the squirt. And he gets up, does a bunch of speeches. He does his speech with a bunch of thank yous, pardon me. Thanks, Dad, the cousins, the bloke who mows the lawn on Tuesdays, the caterers, everyone. The mum doesn't get a start in the thank you speeches. And once the speech was over, she came running through the venue like Usain Bolt and then launched like Superman across the table at him and just tackled him to the ground across the table, screaming at him about how she hadn't been thanked.
Yeah.
And was escorted from the venue, understandably.
Yeah.
But then didn't leave as such, and people knew she was still out there because in the darkness they could see darts being chain smoked in the shadows, just like the little red glow, like just burning down one after the other, like it was a fucking jaguar in the jungle just waiting to pounce out on someone. Oh. So, and I think I might have said before, I've done a wedding where, and it was some time ago, but same sort of thing. There was a family issue, and they actually had to hire a security guard to stand in the car park in case that family member turned up.
We've said it before, red hot tip, don't invite them to your wedding. It's not that hard.
Regardless of who they are and whether you are
bred by them,
got some genetic link to somebody.
Yeah.
Just because you have a genetic link to somebody doesn't mean that you're required by law to invite them.
And not only that, let's get into some real therapy. You don't have to fucking have them in your life at all.
Well, no.
Wedding aside.
No. And so...
if they had no value to your life, cut them loose.
That's right. And so, and on that same vein, I've got another one.
I'm not speaking from any personal experience here. No, it's all hunky-dory. And
I've got another one written here, which is kind of related to that, where I did a wedding, and same sort of thing. There was an estrangement between the father and the mother, and the tensions were a little bit high. And
these are delicious, by the way.
I know, mate. Yeah. They are Kaiju Crush.
Well done.
Yeah. And one of the family members, I don't want to say too much, I don't want to kind of identify him and put any couples in it, but one of the family members was getting full as a boot, demanded that there was another family member who had done a job at the wedding and to that point had not been acknowledged, but the bride and groom were still due to stand up and do their thank yous.
Yeah.
And this family member goes, "You make sure can you get up and thank that person?" And I was like, these guys are still, they got to still get up. And she said, and then she kind of injected herself into the speeches, made sure that she thanked this person who they had full intentions of already mentioning because they'd done a great job for them. But then this relative pulled me aside later, like kind of drunkenly and slurring, going, "There are a lot of problems at this wedding." And I was like, just the MC, man. Like, I'm just... That was the quote. That's what I wrote down. There are a lot of problems at this wedding.
It's like it's ingrained in you.
But it's like the Festivus Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about them.
There's a few that make no sense, and like you said, wrote them down too long ago.
Yeah.
Calling your best friend your ex-lover's name. That
I'll do worse than that. I once called a girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend's name, in the throes of passion.
Oh,
that was a bad time. I was very young. I was only a spring chicken.
I did have a lover.
I don't want to say very young. I don't mean illegally young. I just,
I did have a lover once, and I remember the conversation vividly because he's saying that he hates it when somebody calls him anything other than his name.
Right.
So, like, in the throes of passion, babe or baby or anything. Well, did you ever once think, I don't know your fucking name? In the throes of passion with her? Like, there's a fair chance. That's exactly why I'm calling you baby.
That's very funny.
Because that might not have been something that we covered in the, 30 seconds that it took to get the gear off after.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I've got
we can put a tick next to that one.
Yeah, I was actually, while you were off emptying your small child's bladder, I was just here going, I've talked about, I'll just delete that. And then one I've still got here, and this is just a slight callback to a previous episode where we talked about, we had a caterer recommend that people, if you're going to get on the bags, do it after dinner, not before. I was at a wedding at a venue, and I won't name it because I don't want anyone getting into trouble. But I'd done the wedding. I was emceeing. It's just a small venue, and I was standing there with our good friend of the show, who's told us on a number of occasions he thinks it's very funny. There's something wrong with you, Sam. Sam from Silent Shout.
Yeah.
But we was just standing there talking in between the reception, the ceremony and the reception.
Yeah.
And the toilet was kind of, you had to walk past us to get to the loo, and there's people going in and out, and then this guy comes out looking kind of very confused and upset, and he said, "Have you blokes seen anybody kind of coming in or out? We've seen heaps of people coming in or out, mate. What's your problem?" And he kind of ummed and ahed a bit, and then he said, "Oh, mate, I gave the bag to one of the mates. He's gone in, he's done whatever, and then he's left the bag there for me to follow him in." He said, "But somebody's gone in between us. The bag's gone." And I go, "Mate, I can't help you. I don't know what you're talking about. See you later."
Can't help you, mate.
Yeah, no. But when the reception started and I was doing housekeeping, I said, the toilet, this is here, smoke out there, yada, yada, yada. Now, look, there's a lost and found policy here at this venue. If you've lost something, by all means, go and see the staff. They'll be as helpful as they can in trying to find that item for you. Equally, if you've picked something up that doesn't belong to you and you know it doesn't belong to you, you should probably make some inquiries and see if you can find out who it does belong to, because they're probably looking for it. And there was like about 5 people laughed. Sam was pissing himself because he'd heard the whole conversation. I'm just here to help people, mate.
Oh, good. What, are we going 1 for 1 here now?
Why not?
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Sure.
Do you know?
Anyway, the next thing I've got is...
Classic.
Piss off.
Do you know when you marry a couple that they're not going to last?
Ooh. No, I'm going to say no, because there's times, and I think I've mentioned this before, but you might go to a pre-wedding meeting and, the bloke says nothing or seems fairly disinterested or whatever. And I say bloke, and again, I'm not picking on blokes because I am one. But blokes are by and by, largely fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And they seem disinterested, and you think, what are you doing here? Like, why is this, what's happening? And then on the day, she rounds the corner and our mate bursts into tears, and you're like, oh, fucking, where were you, a month ago when we were talking?
Yeah, just doesn't like us.
So it's kind of hard to tell, I think. And there's some, because there's been some that I thought were killing it. Yeah. And then they're done within a year.
I know. To say, do you know if they're not going to last? Nobody fucking knows if it's going to happen.
Well, because anything can happen at any time.
No crystal ball. But I think I've definitely had couples where there's been strong signs of, from conversations with them both, that there's no substance here. And close to 500 couples now. I've heard, read a lot of love stories. You'd be the same, where you can see, all right, well, these ones have battled through some fucking terrible times and they come out the other side stronger.
Yeah.
Whereas you see other couples, they're both hot as shit. I'd have a crack at them both. But they've actually dealt with nothing in their entire relationship.
Yeah.
And all they've got to say about each other is just a physical attraction sort of vibe. And I think, you think, well, the biggest thing is the first hurdle they're going to come to is paying for the wedding, which that's generally is the big stress that they say, fuck it, we can't handle financial pressure, which you've never had before, see you later.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you think, and even people I've been very, very close to that get married and then within a year they've split the sheets and you think, holy shit, none of us saw that coming.
Yeah, look, it's a lucky dip. It's
and even ones that I think from the get-go, no way are they going to last. They do.
Going strong.
Yeah, so, we just goes to show everything we say or think or do is not worth a pinch of shit.
Again, we don't know a fucking thing. And sometimes people they'll say stuff to you like, oh, have you met a couple and you thought they shouldn't have gone ahead with it? It's not our place. We're not counsellors. We're not here to tell people how to suck eggs.
2 people consenting, that's all we need to make.
If everybody's consenting and they're over the age of 18, then it's not any of my concern. I say to people all the time, people could get off a plane, come into here I mean, as long as they've done obviously the notice the month before.
Yeah,
and
they don't even have to have
and
met.
we've spoken to, met us. Ideally, they'll have met each other.
But even if they haven't,
well, it's true. As long as
matter.
they're both consenting.
Yeah,
it's not our place to judge that. So,
So, no.
And I was going to say, so I don't give a fuck. And that's not true, because sometimes you see it and you go, I do give a fuck. But it's not my place to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it is. Go for it. Finally, episode, I don't know what this is, 15, finally
get a turn.
Finally getting into the fucking rhythm.
So I've got on my list, and this is not wedding related, but, obviously, probably it's mostly brides that listen to us because that's how wedding land is.
Yeah.
Although there's hardly any wedding chat in here that's worth listening to.
True.
But anyway, Lululemon.
Oh yeah, please hit me with this.
So, I've only stolen this from another podcast I heard, but I thought it was that funny, and I thought you will fucking love this.
Oh.
So, do you know why it's called Lululemon?
No.
So, the bloke that owns it, anybody out there can Google this and look it up. The bloke who founded Lululemon, who has now been virtually pushed from the company, taken a big slug of money with him. Yeah. Because they basically push him out because he just says wild shit.
Yeah.
Like unfiltered.
Yeah.
He might as well be in here.
His name's Monty, no doubt.
He wanted to really crack the Japanese market, and he wanted the name to sound exotic, and so he tried to think of a name that they would have trouble saying. That's why it's full of L's.
Oh.
Lululemon.
That is fucked.
That is wild.
Oh my God, no wonder they booted him.
He wanted it to sound exotic to Asian countries, but primarily Japanese countries, so he thought of a name that they would struggle to say.
Oh God.
So Lululemon is called that for that reason.
I thought it was Lululemon. Like, no. It was a posh
this bloke's not even that. Well, you can if you like.
No. But I'm sure the bougie Byron Bay folk that are wearing their jeggings everywhere, they call it Lululemon.
I heard that, and I thought that can't be true, and I did a bit of Googling, and it is, the bloke is wild.
Oh, that's crazy.
Lululemon. So if you're out there with your jeggings on right now, you're part of a systemic. So you're part of systemic racism.
Yeah, well, I got so nervous because I've got some weird investment app share thing and I just was reading randomly the other day. I was like, oh, I wonder where my money's going. And one of them
Lululemon.
One of them is it's investing in
racist.
Lululemon.
You're racist. You're an absolute racist.
All right. So my turn. I go on these big road trips all the time because I've obviously got no concept of distance or reality.
Reality, yes.
Yeah. So and this is going to lead into Scotty. So this episode, we're going to...
Not Scotty Bailey.
No. The Scotty Bailey, you're good, mate. Good. Yeah, good reviews. Yeah, no, good reputation, but...
Unlike the other Scott we're about to talk about.
Wow. Scotty, he's great in some aspects in that he's helped me out on a lot of road trips over the years where it's been an interstate drive overnight between one wedding to the next. Generally... Well, they've all been over 12 hours. Up to 18 hours was the biggest one recently between New South Wales and South Australia. So that was a bit of a mission.
Yeah.
But previously, it was always, he'd come to home and I was back in the car in the morning. I say, all right, I'll do the first leg. And then when I'm tired, you jump in, you drive. So, yep, that's all good. And I've always just finished a wedding, and it might whatever time at night it is. So I'll go as far as I can. But we're not even left the driveway yet. So we're 10 meters from the front door, and he's already fully reclined,
asleep,
passed out. There's no waking him. He's got a hand mask on, so it's not even as if I can hand him the phone and say, "Can you reply to this or can you do this?"
What's a hand mask?
It's to keep you it's like a base, but it's like a glove, but it's got lube inside it that moistens up your bloody fingers and keeps your cuticles all up to date. And I don't know, like 50 Shades of Gay, he's got the textbook.
What?
Yep. So he's got a hand mask on, can't work any feature on the touch screen, nothing. He's got an eye mask on, which is like the pad things that go for your Gucci bags, and then a full face mask, just as, like it's like going to Indota Spa. So completely useless.
Scott.
For however many hours.
Scott.
But then when I need him to drive, he's like, yep, wake me up, good. I can swap positions and do the same routine, and he can drive.
You can wear my hand masks.
Yeah, so I get his second-hand bloody... No, I got my own. Anyway, so that's one part. I've got another friend, Varney, who Scott wasn't available to drive me on one of these road trips. So Varney put her hand up. She needed a bit of cash. That was fine. We thought, yep. So I go to Queensland and like quite far into Queensland, and then the next one's Victoria. So we had about a 15-hour drive to do overnight. So the night before, I was like, all right, make sure you get plenty of rest while I'm writing for the wedding, while I'm doing whatever, because you're going to need to drive a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, get the wedding, do that in the car, drive for however many hours. I don't know what time it ended up being, but like, you know, I did the MC gig, the first wedding, so probably didn't get going until 8:30 or 9 o'clock from Queensland. And then pretty soon into the trip, Varney mentions that she's not very good at night driving because she didn't know this entire time that she'd come with me. And then I get to, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning when I was wrecked and I needed her to drive. And on the map, it was very clear there was about 1,000 Ks in front of us of no turns, just one highway, just drive straight. So anyway, we switched up.
You should buy a Tesla and just go to sleep and let it do its thing.
Yeah, maybe I could. I've got a rubber fist at home too. It could hang onto the steering wheel thing on the way. Yeah. Story for another day.
Yeah.
So anyway, we swap over eventually. I think, all right, I'll get a few hours of shut eye and then we'll, you know, whatever. Even though she's not that good at night driving, but 3 a.m. I thought the sun will be up in 2 hours, she'll be right. I'm not even close to nodding off yet. She'd literally been in the seat for 5-7 minutes, and I hear the blinker on. I open my eyes. I think, where the fuck is she going? Rest stop. She goes, I thought I'd just pull over for a nap. That's not what this is. You can't.
Yeah.
Scotty knows we've got this many hours to do it. This much has to be driving. Like, between us, we'll make it work. And Marty, I was getting a bit tired after 5 minutes of driving. No good. Anyway, love you, Vans. You've got plenty of strong points, but night driving is not one of them.
So
I just started typing that.
I've got.
Scott, sorry, well that leads into Scotty.
Scott, go.
Yeah. No, you've got.
So Scotty, he just, you two were. It was probably as part of that Victorian, South Australian trip, I think. I got a video message through from you guys where you were filming Scott while he said, "I've got ideas for the podcast."
Yeah.
So Scott used to be a barber. That's how I met Scott. I actually met him long before I met you.
And I met Scott because he was a barber.
Yeah. He actually gave Titus his first haircut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a hero.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Kate, maybe he would have put us together.
Maybe. So his were that when, leading up to the wedding.
And by that I mean as in doing the two Montys thing.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Kate, I didn't mean we'd end up together.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no.
Okay, then fine.
I like straight men, mate.
No, but his video was, and I would play it only that it's
shit.
I think you both had about 15 bottles of wine, and there's a lot of just absolute dribble in it.
There is. Yeah.
But they were that he'd have in the lead up to a wedding, guys would come into the shop with the prospective bride, and the guy would just sit there basically going, okay.
Yeah.
While she shouted instructions about how his hair should be.
And prefacing this, never been in the shop ever before.
No, well, that was a separate thing. And
yeah.
The other one was that a guy would come in who's never had his hair cut by Scott ever before.
Yeah.
And go, I need you to give me the most important haircut of my entire life.
The full day service for the wedding.
Yeah, full day service. I've never been here. You've never seen my hair. You don't know how it grows. You don't know what I like.
Yeah.
Make me look incredible right now.
Yeah.
So basically, go to your normal barber, tell him what's about.
Yeah.
Or hairdresser if you're so inclined.
Yeah. No, they're probably like a Subway. They're not just, they're a sandwich artist.
Yeah,
so they're
right.
a hair artist.
But that's what you need to, and obviously I'm going all the time. Actually, it's a lie. I do go all the time.
To your beard?
For my beard.
Yeah. What do you do with your hair?
No, I just shave it at home.
With a normal face razor?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Couple times a week.
But it's a skill in itself because normally the knee is the hardest part to get, and you're basically doing one big fucking knee.
Yeah, old knee head.
Yeah, knee.
No, I go and see a good friend of the show, Alex from Nowhere Barbers, has been cutting. So basically, Scotty used to be my barber.
And he worked with Alex.
Yeah, they worked together in the same shop,
Yeah.
which is how I knew them both. And then Scotty went off to do whatever the fuck it is he does now. And
this is what he's titled himself. He works at a Catholic school now. Not a teacher's aide, no. He's a spiritual first responder. I hope that look hurts him a lot. Yeah.
But when he stopped doing that, no, you know what? It's actually a lie. You know what happened? He left the shop that he was in, and he was in the process of transitioning to the new vocation.
Yeah.
And he was working at another shop, but the other shop just did walk-ins. They did no appointments.
Yeah.
And that was not that. Listen, Kate King, you keep texting me over and over again, and I can't turn it down because she's my emergency contact.
Yeah.
It always comes through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to this new shop, and I said, because I'd followed him to a couple of shops,
Yeah.
Scott, and I said, no, I'll follow the new shop, and he's like, it's walk-in, no appointments, and I was like, Alex, can you book me in for a haircut, please? Because I need to know when I'm going.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I started going to Alex, and Alex is an absolute fucking champion.
Yeah. Well, Scott thought he gave up the tools, but I was there on Monday night on my way back from a wedding.
Getting a haircut?
Yep. He's done the very happy with it.
You didn't pay for that, did you?
No, I didn't actually.
Fair enough.
No, you
I
got
wouldn't
some.
either. No, is it your turn?
Well, it's back onto Scotty. So this is
listen.
so this is
Put it this way: if your name's Scott, and you would like an episode dedicated to you, because we've done Scott Bailey so far.
I had a housemate called Scott.
We've got Scotty Smith is this whole episode. So if your name's Scott, you could be the next Scott episode.
How's the time looking, Lincoln?
Lincoln. Oh, I thought he was gone. I thought he'd gone out to get lunch.
I was gone. It's 26.
Oh, good. Righto. We'll finish up with this one. So, throwing back, some people have confused us in the past. Vendors, couples, either from inquiries or they go to get the,
Because we're very interchangeable.
Don't know how the fuck they do it. Anyway, but not only have they confused us, as in the wedding world, Scott's mum has confused us also.
That's right. And to be honest, until you messaged me about it the other day, I'd forgotten all about it.
So, was out with Scott one night, had a bit of a session with some friends, and Scott parted ways at the point in the night he thought he needed to go home, which was and is generally about 3 to 5 hours after the point in the night that he needs to go home. The realization point for him a lot later. Anyway, so he makes his way home, gets a taxi. I'm pretty sure we're at escape rooms, and then we ended up at a pub down that end. Anyway, he lived on Hunter Street.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he got a taxi to pretty much 20 metres, very close to his front door.
Yeah.
Then thought that he didn't have his phone, or he'd left it behind, or he lost it, or whatever. Didn't have his wallet, so he did a old dine and dash, bolted on the taxi, didn't pay the fare.
I wouldn't have pegged him for for much of a dasher.
Yeah, no. So he stumbled out of this, crawled up the street, the opposite direction to where he lives, thinking that he's going to, because it's one way for Hunter Street. So that taxi driver, fuck him, whatever. Anyway, Scott's ended up passing out and sleeping in the gutter.
Sorry, this taxi cab dasher, he is the first spiritual responder. Spiritual first responder, is that him?
Oh, don't worry, it all worked out the wash thanks to me. But he slept in the street. He's been awoken by a stranger rummaging through his pockets.
Right.
So he was being robbed at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
And Scott's response to this situation is to invite said robber up to his apartment for a nightcap. So Scott is then, and at the time, the elevator was broken in the apartment, so they had to take the stairs. And it was only because after 5 flights of stairs, the robber asked him, how many more fucking stairs are there? He goes, there's another 3 flights to go. He goes, fuck this, I'm going home. So Scott nearly got robbed by old mate and then invited him up for a drink. Anyway, the next morning, Monty King gets a phone call from Donna, Scott's mum.
Did I get a phone call or a text?
Oh, text, that's right, text. Have you got it there?
No.
What did she say?
I have no idea. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Anyway, saying, hi, Monty, I know Scott was out with you last night, haven't been able to contact him, something, basically looking for a son. And then Monty messages me saying, I think this one's for you. And at that point, I didn't actually know there was any issue. I just thought, Scott left the pub, he went home, he's fine.
Yeah.
But then I get this screenshot of a message from Donna, Scott's mum. So she'd Googled the wrong one to find the number.
Yeah.
End up finding out that Scott the whole story. And then I had to ring and at the whole time, Donna had been ringing Scott's phone, which was in the taxi. So the taxi driver's blowing up to Scott's mum saying that this prick left his phone in here after he didn't pay the fare. So then I had to get the phone delivered to where I was that day, pay for the delivery and the fare that he evaded the night before.
Yeah.
And then deal with the embarrassment for his mum having to message the wrong Monty and deal with the whole situation. So obviously myself and Donna were ripping into Scott about, come on, mate, you're 30, pull your head in. Like, have a go.
Glad no one said that to me.
But the harsh reality of it was that not even a week later, I had a very similar situation where I had a bit of a session, decided I'll get myself home, but on the way home thought, no, I'll try and get into the Cambridge first. And upon arrival, there was no way I was getting in, and I got rejected many times. Did the old outfit swap, but with myself, trying to get in under a different disguise. So that didn't work. And then I thought, I reckon I could break into here. So the street that goes between Hunter Street and King Street.
Yeah, I know the one.
In the corner of the Cambridge, only 10 metres up there's a little weird, entryway that's full of pallets and milk
into
crates.
Cambridge.
Into the Cambridge. It's a fire exit probably.
Yeah.
But not much of an exit because it's full of milk crates.
Yeah. I know the one you mean.
So anyway, I've climbed in there and thought, I could get in through an air vent like I'm at fucking Mission Impossible.
I was going to say fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So anyway, the next thing I remember, and this was maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night. Next thing I remember, waking up, sun's on my face, in that little...
Oh, I do remember this.
Little
I do remember
box
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Same, it could not work out. So I think I've tried to climb in, fallen down, bumped my head, and
I don't think you've even bumped your head, mate. I'd say
you've
stopped for a minute, like a second, and gone, I can't.
I know. So then I've woken up quite early in the morning and phoned a friend, FaceTimed her, not knowing where I was, and I was still pissed, couldn't climb over the pallet. So I FaceTimed her. I said, I don't know where I am, and she could work out from the other side of the street exactly where I was. So wait there, I'll be 20 minutes. I said, well, I will be waiting here because I can't get out.
I don't know where to go.
So the fact that I'd revved him the week before for being so irresponsible to sleep in the street and then did the same thing. So
I just have to very quickly tell my wife, she's trying to organise something to do for my birthday, and she keeps messaging me, and she's going to have to stop.
Hey,
can you stop messaging me?
Can we stitch her up? Can we
for an hour?
Can we ring her and and tell her that we've finished recording and then? No, that would be fun. She'd love that.
We should cut this because it's just me texting on the phone. Bye for now. We'll see you the next episode.
Oh, don't let me say goodbye to all my friends.
Fucking tell them, mate.
Well, now I'm under pressure. Bye.
What? You're under pressure to say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm not good at goodbyes. No. All right, that'll do. You know what's great?